Alright, so we're picking up for part 3 where we left off in part 2. If your circuit doesn't look exactly like this one, you're going to want to make sure that you go back and watch parts 1 and or 2 to make sure that you're up to speed. Alright, so here is the circuit that we left off with. And now things are going to get a little bit more complicated, so since it's getting crowded, I'll add some color here to the next pin. Alright, so you're going to notice that we've got two paths, just like we did on pin 2. We got two paths. We got one connected to a switch that's connected to ground. Then we've got one that's connected from pin 4 to a resistor to source. Alright, so I'm going to start with the switch. So let's find a switch in our components. We want to use a push button. So there it is, right here. So I have a push button. Now, a lot of students, again, make the mistake that we talked about before of putting a switch something like this. All right, but the problem is the switch connects from here to here. In this case, it's terminal 12 to terminal 22. All right, so the problem with this is that the breadboard is already connected on every hole in this row. So electricity's not going to go, it doesn't need to go from here to here. It can just go straight through the breadboard. So this isn't the right way to use a switch. The proper way to use a switch is to rotate it and put it in the middle of the breadboard. So I'm going to put it on row 15 and row 17. So I'm going to use this side of the switch, and I'm going to ignore this side. I don't need two switches. There's two switches here. I'm just going to use this side. All right, so let's start by looking at our schematic again. And we've got one end of the switch connected to pin number 4. All right, well, let's count again. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4 because this always signifies pin 1. So I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to connect from pin 4 to the first part of the switch. Right, now this is where it gets tricky because it doesn't look exactly like it does in the schematic. It doesn't look straight across, and that's okay. As long as you make the connections the correct way, it doesn't matter how the schematic compares to the real breadboard. So even though it's straight across horizontal, the connections are still the same. You can see pin number 4 connects to one side of the switch. Same thing here. Pin number 4 connects to one side of the switch. The other side of the switch gets connected to ground. So I'm going to notice that any one of these holes will do just fine. And I'm going to connect this part of the switch to ground. Now we're halfway there. All right, so we've taken care of the switch. We got ground, switch, pin 4. But then there's this piece. Okay, we've got another wire that goes up along here and connects to a resistor, which goes to source. All right, again, this may not look exactly like it does when you compare the schematic to the breadboard. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to let's start backwards. I'm going to go from source to a resistor. So I need to add a new resistor here to my breadboard. So I'm going to find a resistor, and I'm going to rotate it, make it a little easier to use, and I'm going to drag it from source. I'll put it down here so it's not so crowded. Okay, so I've got from source, from my source over to the breadboard. Great. Make sure again that you don't do this because this is ground. Okay, you need to move it over a hole. All right, and there's a couple ways I could do this. All right, for simplicity's sake, I really only need one wire. I'm going to take a wire to connect from the resistor down to pin 4, and I can connect to any one of these. And that's it. And the program takes care of kind of tidying it up, so hiding it under the timer. And that's it. So if we look at our schematic, we can double check. We've got resistor connected to source, So here's resistor connected to source. And then we've got the other end of the resistor connects to pin 4. Other end of the resistor connects with a wire to pin 4. All done. So when yours looks like this, go ahead and move on to the next video.